Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well. Thank you for joining the Apteco Q3 2025 software release webinar. I'm James Alty. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm joined online by Mel and Katie from our marketing team who are going to help run the polls and any questions that you have during this webinar. I'd just like to say thanks to Katie, particularly for helping me with the slides, although I was somewhat taken aback to find a great big picture of myself at the front of the deck. But there you go, that's me and speaking to you from Warwick. And welcome to all the people joining from different time zones around the world. Thank you very much for joining us for the next hour. So we have the usual mix of topics. I'm going to be covering some technical details, how to populate the Apteco systems, how we use data from other sources, how we can customize that data as we pull it into the Apteco platform. I'm also going to be looking at some of our analytics and visualization capabilities, particularly in Orbit, and mentioning some new technical capabilities in the FastStats application. And we'll talk a bit about some of the enhancements to the campaign area. Now, your calls are muted, but your questions are, of course, very welcome. You can put questions in through the Teams interface, and we will try to respond during the webinar. If we can't answer your question during the webinar, we will follow up immediately afterwards, and we can email you with any details that you need. Now, today's session is going to be a little different. I'm going to demo rather less of the software than usual, and that is because we are going to invite you to Apteco Live, our annual user and partner conference, which is in London on the 13th of November, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we will be demoing at Apteco Live. I'm only going to show you a preview today, though. Now, remember, you can always explore what's new at Apteco by visiting the What's New page on our website. And after the webinar, we'll send out this slide deck, and the Explore More link that is on my slide is a link. It will be a link in the PDF, and you can use that to go directly to the What's New area. You would then choose to click on the Q3 2025 link, which is now live on the website, and you'll be able to find the details of what's new in this period, in this quarter. We used to, as you know, issue the desktop software every quarter. We do Orbit updates every fortnight or thereabouts, but we kind of collect together activity for the quarter onto the What's New page. So do come and have a look at that to see what's new. We will also direct you to the Help Hub, where you can learn more about all things Apteco, whether that's technical details or user facilities. There's lots on the Help Hub, and I'm actually going to show you some of that today, just to remind you how easy it is to visit and to navigate. And I'll take a moment to promote our training team and the training team's work. You can now access training resources 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without needing to travel to Warwick to sit in our wonderful training room, as people used to do, but no longer need to. You can get on-demand training courses through our streaming content that's available anytime, and we're expanding the courses all of the time, keeping them up to date with the latest software, and adding new capabilities. So we're just working, for example, on both the Connect course material and the Campaign course material. So come and have a look at the training courses. I know our scheduled courses are nearly sold out for the next couple of months. We've seen a lift in training activity, which is a bit seasonal, but a surprisingly busy time coming up for our training team. So if you want to attend the course in person rather than self directed. We run those online, streaming from the recording studio upstairs, and Di and Ian will be pleased to get you on one of those courses if there are still spaces. So we'll start by looking at details in the Connect part of the app, and I'm going to demonstrate some of this to you today. And particularly, we've wrapped up in this quarter really rather nice facilities, and we would say that, wouldn't we, for linking Apteco to Microsoft Dynamics CRM and to Salesforce Sales Cloud. And we've got mechanisms that I'm going to show you that allow you to do some manipulation of that data as you bring that data into the Apteco platform. I'll try and show you that live today. So more powerful integrations, and there are further integrations coming all the time as we add to the list of supported integrations in Orbit Connect. You remember Designer has a wide-ranging set of integrations already, but you can see the list. We'll see it in a minute in the demo. And one of the things I'm going to show you today is the ability to do custom queries from Salesforce data sources. So if you've got a big pile of data in Salesforce, you want to get a subset of that into your Apteco system, then you can use custom queries to do that. And we will be introducing custom queries on other data sources in due course. So, for example, we've just added Redshift as a data source, an AWS big data store, and each of the other data sources, as we work through, we will give you the ability to run custom queries from Connect on there. Actually driven partly by the data that we receive from Salesforce, we've done a bit of a revamp of how we handle time zone indicated date and time fields. So if you're working on a global brand, you've got prospects and customers in different time zones, you've got users in different time zones. Clearly, it's important to understand time zoning appropriately. And in Designer, but not yet in Connect, we have the ability to process time zone information on date and time fields that we receive, and you can normalize those into a standard time. So by default, we'll standardize to UTC, which is the same as GMT, Universal Time Coordinated, but you can choose a different time zone. If your base is in Australia, for example, UTC is a bit out of sync, so you might choose to go to New South Wales time or something like that. So improved facilities for time zone handling. In the analyze area, I'm going to show you some of this. We've got improved facilities with pan and zoom on the maps, and I'll take the chance to mention that we've changed supplier for shape files in the United Kingdom. So we have new and updated shape files for postcode area, postcode district, postcode sector, and we are able to help you deploy those very readily onto your systems. Installing shape files into FastStats used to be quite a chore, quite fiddly. We now have that much easier to set up with GeoJSON files that you can drop in place. And I'll show you an example of that, for example, in our demo system. And I'll show you how you can pan and zoom on a dashboard tile to ensure the map is shown as you intend. In the FastStats system, we've done further work on pattern matching, and as some of you know, pattern matching across a series of transactions is a powerful capability when you're looking at behavior. This runs alongside our behavioral modeling system, which looks at events in sequence across multiple transaction tables in a common timeline, allowing you to look at what patterns might lead to a high value donation or to a churn, for example. And with pattern matching, Now we've extended how you can handle the values in the transactions that you are dealing with. So again, just adding power to that capability. And the button on this page, when you see the PDF, that will link you straight to the help topic, which is also listed in the what's new section where we get the release notes for the release. We try and collect together the new facilities to make it easy for you to see. And as you can see on the slide, we've got a new predefined pattern called longest or different, which will look at how many occasions transactions occurred, whether all of the products or topics or events or whatever it is you're measuring were all different. And built-in patterns just help you use the application, and maybe you can then learn other things that you want to do with it. Similar sort of topic. You can now look at a new expression called linear trend. That works on lists of values in an expression, and in effect works out the gradient of a trend line. And as you can see in the example here, highlighted in green, we've got a positive trend line. Actually, you can't see in the screenshot, that's across a series of dates from 2021 onwards, whereas so New Zealand is positive linear trend on the mean cost of holidays to New Zealand, whereas Latvia is negative negative trend on the mean cost of holidays to Latvia over the same period from a cube. So again, looking at data derived from aggregations across all of the transactions that somebody has, in this case across holiday bookings, could just as well be across donations or product purchases or subscription payments or whichever you are using. And while we present these facilities initially always in FastStats, that's the closest point to the engine, if you like, of doing this work. We are working to deliver all of that into Orbit, and so the Orbit expression support has been expanded already. We've got more work to do there to give you access to all of these fantastic capabilities, but the aim is that you can deliver these results whether you share them in Orbit, action them in Orbit, author them in Orbit. Those are all part of the working practice around the Apteco platform now. Similarly, in FastStats, if you're building a profile model, a PWE model, by default, we've always had automatic descriptions, but sometimes you might have your own descriptions that you wish to apply there. So if you have decided to do decile banding, for example, you know the number of bands that you are going to create with the score ranges appropriate for the score that the particular model has created. You can put your own labeling onto those now when you create the variable, so it's easier than perhaps having to derive another variable and put labels onto it with a combined categories type approach. So just smoothing the way on that. And then in the campaign area, we now have the ability to drive linked in. So if you imagine that you've got an audience, it may be an audience of companies, it may be an audience of people or contacts. You can upload either and both to a LinkedIn account, and from there you can apply targeting and exclusions to the LinkedIn ad campaign that you wish to run. So really adding a B2B ad capability in a walled garden. Yes, it's like the socials, it's like Facebook or Meta advertising, in that it's in their prescribed space, but LinkedIn clearly is a different space than Meta or Google or X. So a new capability presented in just the same way. You need to have a LinkedIn ad account. You need to have ad content uploaded onto your LinkedIn account. What we can then do is upload, just like for the other ad platforms, target lists and stop lists, but with LinkedIn, we can choose to do that at company or contact level, and you can upload data such as domains or emails or company names and countries, for example. The LinkedIn matching is really very slow, so I'm not going to try and demo it today. As in, it could easily take 24 hours for LinkedIn to process the data that the Apteco platform has uploaded. But even so, I believe it's a really useful mechanism. Imagine being able to tell your colleagues in the ad world that the CRM and analytics systems working through Apteco will continuously maintain audiences on LinkedIn that they can pick for tactical activity. For example, you could have your VIP customers in one segment, you could have your new customers in another segment, you could have the stop list of people who are currently in contract negotiation, all those sort of things. You can upload constantly, so you can have a campaign scheduled to run every day, as well as scheduling things in Apteco to actually commission the ads. So you can service your colleagues in ad tech space by delivering audiences of known identified companies and contacts into LinkedIn. You can also have campaigns that are actually going to serve ads for you. So adding to the mix of ad tech that we support. And guess what? We can close the loop with that. So the Google Analytics reporting that we support is enhanced using UTM tracking. You can bring campaigns and media back to your Google Analytics platform. You can drive that with Apteco campaign. We have a tick box for adding UTM codes, and we can now collect details with the metrics you see on screen, things like number of new users, number of active users, engagement time, and we collect that and we'll display that back in the campaign space in Orbit, so you can see on a particular campaign, how is this campaign doing. But we also give you a drill through. We realize there's no point trying to rewrite Google Analytics. What we've given you is a really easy, close, direct view of the Google Analytics results inside Orbit. You don't need to leave Orbit to see what's happening with a particular campaign. But you can also drill through to go and visit your Google Analytics account and see the detail in there. So nice closed loop and measurement of the detail. We've also refined the campaign calendar. So both the campaign calendar and campaign folders now have list view, so you can see a tighter presentation, if you like, of forthcoming activity on the campaign calendar. Remember, it will show the next occasion that your campaigns will execute. You can see the patterns across the days. You can see which days have got multiple campaigns active, and obviously a list view of a folder just is a different type of presentation. It allows you to see easily a summary of the number of campaigns in there. So both calendar and folders have improved presentation using that list view. Do feedback to us how you get on with these mechanisms. Our designers work all the time on making Orbit easy and intuitive and natural to use. And so as you operate the folders, let us know how you get on. There are some restrictions, for example, on what you can copy, whether you can move a live campaign, for example, because it may be subject to constraints across that particular area. So, and incidentally, we are working on wider constraints in Orbit campaigns so that you can use the folders like areas in PeopleStage to implement restrictions. And then a bit of a technical topic currently visible in PeopleStage. We have a new capability to restrict how we interpret the selection or subsetting of people in a campaign. It's actually that tiny little tick box. Let me point at it. It's that one there. It says for the same journey. The important point is we can now identify who was in the control group, for example, for this particular journey iteration, so that you do not run the risk of mixing up different iterations of a campaign and who was in the control group for the first iteration of campaign. Let's say you're running a campaign every day or every week. You want to keep together the people who were in a control group or a particular segment for that particular group, that flow, that cohort going through the journey. And so this allows us to be more specific on picking those people. And as always, we're maintaining compatibility between people stage and orbit. We're aiming to help people look at how they can migrate people stage campaigns to orbit and which ones are much easier, much cleaner, much more approachable, much more visual in orbit, and where they can use the benefit of that orbit presentation. So yeah, tightening the rules slightly so that you can control better who flows through a particular journey or who's kept in a quiet cohort of a control group for a particular campaign. Right, let's go and have a look, and I will go to one of several tabs in my browser. I'm going to try and use all of these in the next half an hour or so. Yesterday, 3 o'clock in the UK, so not quite 24 hours ago, I created myself a Salesforce system. You can self-service a Salesforce developer test account anytime you like. I have chosen to use one of the more obvious applications, which is the marketing CRM application. In fact, I was expecting it to show me a choice of those applications. There you go. Marketing CRM Classic. So a classic Salesforce Sales Cloud implementation. And as you just saw, excuse me, I have populated some leads, and if I look at all open leads, you can see I have some people in there. I imported those people using the import wizard in Salesforce. Absolutely standard stuff. There's some people near the top of here that are from the Salesforce test data, but you will probably recognize some of these names. Buzz Aldrin, Chris Hadfield, both famous astronauts, and I was using some of the astronaut data from our Apteco live session at the National Space Centre last year. So I've loaded that in. It's all fictitious. You can't actually email astronauts through Apteco, at least not using data we provide. And some of these, for example, they are not NASA email addresses. They're not real. We don't want to accidentally reach these astronauts. But the point is, I've got some data in Salesforce. And so a little later yesterday, I fired up a copy of Orbit, and this is an example that we use for demos, and I've got the Connect application permissions on my user. So if I fire up that, we can see some data sources that other people have defined. But I want to ingest the data from my Salesforce system, and so I might choose new data source, and you can see I've got all the lovely data sources I've just mentioned. Redshift is new, currently in preview. I've turned the preview on my system, but in this case, I want to connect to Salesforce, and you can perhaps see from the type of systems that we've got here, we're positioning Apteco as a well-connected, integrated platform. So how do I connect to Salesforce? Well, let's call it a Salesforce data source and create that data source. Now, in order to connect to Salesforce, I need to choose some credentials. I've got some credentials here, and I'm just going to show you them so that you get an idea of what is involved. That isn't quite enough information for you to screen, copy, and paste and log into my astronauts data. But you can see that I've got a name for the credentials, actually the same name as I've just used for my data source. I've got the URL of the Salesforce instance. I've got a consumer key, and I've got a secret that it's not showing us. But all of that tested fine. Now, how do you set all of that up? You might be thinking, well, I've done it myself. I'm not a Salesforce expert, but I just thought I'd give you a flavor for it. So if you go to help.apteco.com, you go to Orbit, you go to Connect, you go to Data Sources, and you go to Salesforce, you can see a help page. And that help page talks you through some of what I've just shown you. It talks about creating new credentials, and then it magically has some data. And I was like, oh yeah, well that's good. How do I create the credentials? Where do I get the credential name, the domain URL, consumer key? Well, have a look. Here we have Salesforce technical documentation. So, you know, with a bit of a warning, are you wanting to dive into here? Well, I did, and I opened up into the technical documentation, a rather wonderful help page with lots of animated GIFs that shows me that I first of all need to go up to choose the service setup, which I did in Salesforce. And I'm not going to take you through all the detail. And it does look quite hairy. You know, Salesforce don't make an API connection particularly appealing or attractive. You know, it was nice to follow as a you know, technically adept user, if I may qualify myself as such. And you can see, you know, several stages all the way through to creating an app and managing the app and assigning a user, but it's all documented. Didn't need to ask anyone how to do this. I was able to do it myself this morning, verified my identity, and I ended up at a dialogue like this where I was able to copy the consumer key and the consumer secret. And that is exactly the information that went into here. If I just show that dialogue again, my domain, my consumer key, and my consumer secret. So we'll do our best to keep that help up to date to match Salesforce, and the dialogues evolve in Salesforce. Of course they do, like they do in Orbit, but we keep it up to date. And as a result, I can say I want to use that credential, and we then get from my tiny little brand new Salesforce system a view of all of the tables. And Salesforce data model is just a monster, just absolutely huge. Look at that. I've scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and I haven't even finished the tables that begin with the letter A. How far could you go? Well, actually, I've only populated one table, which is called lead, not leads. Salesforce use singular names for their tables. And so I can choose the lead table, and initially it looks like, oh, it hasn't worked. But actually, here's one of the new capabilities from Apteco saying we can't preview this yet because you haven't told us which columns you would like to see. So let's set up some columns from our lead table, and you can see we have picked up some column names. We've picked up some sample data separated by commas, giving you an idea of what's in here. And so I could say, well, I would like the ID, I would like the first name, I'd like the last name, I'll have their full name, I'll have maybe the email address, which I think I will find down here. There you go. Not likely to need their fax number, etc. So I can choose from all of the attributes, and there's the list of attributes on the lead table in the standard Salesforce data model. Incidentally, these mechanisms work on bespoke or custom tables and custom attributes as well. So we will pick those up. So I choose add, bingo. You know, we've now got data in Orbit previewed out of Salesforce, only picking the columns that I've asked for, and I'm able to see, well, actually at the top, some of those people that get shipped as default data. But down here, you can see some of the astronauts that I've imported, including Neil Armstrong, who apparently has joined the Russian space agency Cosmonet. Perhaps a bit unlikely. We did generate those randomly. So that's how easy it is to pick all the rows from a table with prescribed columns. But I might not want to do that. I might want to go, and in fact, sorry, yeah, I have to back out of that and discard it in order to add a new data source from Salesforce, because I'm going to call this subset of leads. And in fact, let's say subset of Salesforce leads, because I might be getting data from somewhere else another time. And again, I'm going to use the same credentials, but this time I'm going to use a custom query. So this is the second part of our Salesforce capability. And you can either have a go writing a Salesforce query, or if I go back to Salesforce, I can choose, for example, to open the developer console, and I could go to the query editor down here, and I could say, let's just try select ID from leads, and I'm sure there's tools in here that let you build these queries. I just type stuff in. I'm sorry, it's not called leads, is it? It's called lead. Execute that, bingo, we can get some data. I practiced earlier, so I know I can do first name, last name, email. Actually, it may be case sensitive, which will be interesting. No, it's not. There you go. So now I've got a little query that I know works in Salesforce, and I can go and copy that. I can go back to, let's just move the developer console out of the way, not going to need that anymore. Let's go back to Connect, paste it in here. Actually, if I was really left to my own devices, I would make it much neater than I did in Salesforce. And we could tab out that and then say fetch data. And if I've got that right, I think I have, then we will get data back from my instance of Salesforce with just those names. Be quite pleased if it came back soonish. There you go, bingo, just in time. And I could actually, perhaps more pertinently, say where is deleted equals false. So I don't want any deleted data, for example. That will run a query, and within some limits specified by SOQL, Salesforce Object Query Language, and the bulk API that we use to get it, you can do queries in here. And I haven't tried this, so this may not work, but let's try where first name equals Neil. Don't know if it uses quotes or single quotes, but we'll have a go. No, that one didn't work. Let's try with single quotes. And if it doesn't work with single quotes, I'll leave that as an experiment for the reader to go and find out. Oh, look at that. That looks like it might work. Boom, Neil Armstrong. It's the only record you need, folks. That really just emphasising that. Let's take the Neil Armstrong limit off. We'll fetch that data. I don't actually need to fetch it again, but gives you a nice preview. And then I can say import, and off we go. We've now got that data importing into Orbit, ready for us to join it in with other data sources and build ourselves a lovely Apteco system. So yes, only 85 records, not the biggest table in the history of Apteco, but hopefully you can see how easy it is to connect. I said I was going to use all these tabs, didn't I? I haven't used all of them, but those ones were where I got to following our help instructions to copy the domain. That's where I got to get the keys, copy those out. In fact, you could use those that you've just seen to come and access my astronaut, but please don't. Right, let's go back to Orbit, and I'm not actually going to build that system. Let's go have a look at the main demo system. I need to keep rattling along because we haven't got very long. Let's just do a very lovely, simple thing that hopefully will help everyone, and which you may have found already. If I call this Q3 demo, I can create a new audience, and I can add a filter, and I could say that I would like to look at, for example, let's pick the sources. Doesn't really matter what variable I pick, and I get a set of columns. That set of columns actually I can reset to the standard. So by default, it looks like that. Tick box, code, description, count. And as you saw, I could turn on the count bars, and those may fit or not. They may be useful or not. And I can sort by various different items. So sort them descending and get the longest count bar. But this dialogue's been a bit of a limitation for us, and we've extended it. So if, for example, I choose now to view not the codes, just the descriptions, not the count bars, with the people, but not showing me anything with 0 values, that's lovely. And I can choose, the values I want from here. But now when I go to my next variable, add another filter, and let's choose, just to emphasize the point, something on a wholly different table, still a categorical variable. It has remembered my settings. And so this dialogue is just a bit more customizable. It's remembered on a per user, per system basis. So I've got my settings are different from yours. You can customize yours. We don't carry the sort characteristics across to every other variable. That is for you to use. And just in case you were wondering, the categories are sorting by the code, sorting by the ascending or descending quantity, ascending or descending by description, which might be different from the code actually. In the one I showed you a minute ago, it was the same. But also a nice one where we can put selected to the top. So as many of you will have done over the years in FastStats, you've made multiple selections. You just want to see all of those. And so you can sort by selected up at the top. You can see those nice and easily. So some of the UI finesse of FastStats coming into, or the UI power of FastStats coming into the finesse of the user interface in Orbit. And we worked really hard to make Orbit attractive, easy to use, but there were places where the functionality just wasn't slightly up to the spec. And now, clearly that is. So hopefully that is useful for you. That's all I was going to show you there. Let's just go over to dashboards. Let me actually just create a new dashboard. I'm only going to show you one little thing on here, just to give you an idea. We, as I said, have been refining the maps. So if I just create a demo map and choose to use a map, and I choose my map definition. And just to give you an idea here, we've created some examples. We have, as I mentioned, new supplier for postcode area, postcode district, postcode sector in the UK. But you can also create other shapefiles very much more easily now through FastStats or by uploading them through Orbit. And you can use those. I'll just use postcode area for now. Let's give that a load of space just so you can see it easily. And that's only got 120, 130 shapes in it. You can tell if you're using the modern shapes, the newest shapes, because Loch Ness in Northern Ireland is not carved out as a separate area. Just shrink that a little bit so it fits on the screen. So Loch Ness is not shown here. If I choose to, I can, however, zoom in and pan the map. So this control is available to me as I zoom in. You can actually see Lough Neagh underneath the BT postcode area, but it's not got a sort of inner shape on it. But now if I finish that shape on that tile, I can position that at that place for the users. So instead of having shapes that always showed the whole extent of the shape file, I will see the shape that I've created at the position that I created. So it's made shapes more practical for use on dashboards. I know Aid, our MD in Australia, had a huge cheer because finally he could zoom in to, New South Wales or Sydney area rather than seeing the whole of Australia, where actually the shapes were not much used. There are still some performance constraints. If you load postcode sectors in here, it's about 10,000 postcode sectors. It takes a long time to draw all the shapes, and we're constantly researching those sorts of performance aspects of Orbit, just trying to make it easier and smarter to use. But yeah, hope you like that. All right, I think that is all I was going to show you in here. And then just in campaigns, just a reminder that we have folders if you've not encountered them already. We've made campaign significantly more structured and easy to administrate. So, for example, I'm at the top level looking at all of the campaign folders. If I choose to get the overview, this is of everything that's happening. So I can see all the different details of everything that's happening. If I go back and choose, for example, just one area, the overview now is different. I'm just looking at the campaigns in that area. And if I just go back again to emphasize, if I look at the social area, for example, look at the overview, you can see very different results. Yeah, actually nothing in that one. You get the idea. They're different results for the different areas. And if you drill actually into the single campaign, obviously you're only looking at that single campaign. So folders allow you to structure and organize your work, but also they will be used for powerful activity later on. Actually, I think it was this one, sorry, the travel campaign, where if I look at the overview, we can see the detail that's running here. So I've got some limited activity in it. Remember the calendar I mentioned earlier, by default it's shown in tile view. So we've got a tile for each day. The tiles extend to show the longest item that's necessary in any of that row of the calendar. So this is showing October. If I go forward to November, we leave the tiles in the same format, but you can see there's nothing at the moment in my noddy little demo system, nothing showing as campaigns. You might see this effect. I go back to September, because we actually show the following week. You can see the activity for the next run of the Book Next holiday campaign. So you'll see those in there. The point is also you can now see them in a list. So if I go and look at October, there you see in a nice list view the campaigns that we have got, and we can click on that, go have a look at the overview for that particular campaign. It hasn't got a journey in it, or it's a people stage journey. Right, I think that is probably all I need to do in there. Let me just check my notes. Yeah, that is what I was going to do. So let's just get a feedback poll, and if Mel is ready, we should be able to get a feedback on which of the things I've tried to show you in a Scamper, which of those are useful, and I think you can select all that apply. So that poll's even come to me. I better tick some of those and submit, and Mel will judge when enough people have submitted, you can then see the results. Yeah, look, fast stats. So people love fast stats analytics. And in fact, you'll see some of that in the best use of Apteco award entries. We've picked the finalists for this year's award, and there's some good fast stats work done in there. Thank you very much, Mel. A few ways, if you're not already doing so, you can bring your own data to try in Orbit. Obviously, you are licensed customers and approved partners, so you've probably got access to our technology anyway. But if you want to show a customer what Orbit can do, you can bring their data, try it on Apteco Cloud. You can also do what I've just done with Salesforce and connect your Salesforce system directly into Orbit, or you can use some of our data for a trial. Bit about the future. So remember, and these are links in the document, we capture ideas through the wish list. We show you results on the plans on the roadmap. We show the results of our development work on what's new, and we summarize those into milestones. All of those are available on apteco.com. I'm not going to take you to them right now, but there is the Apteco roadmap. It has two levels. Epics are the big projects, and then features are the detail within that. So epics have fewer items, more high level. Features are more detail of that. And our product managers maintain those three areas: connect, analyze, and campaign. How we bring data in, how we analyze it, how we activate it. We have also some opportunities for you to see us. Well, you've missed this one actually, but the Wachtdag was the fundraising expo in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And we're back in Utrecht, back in the Netherlands, not in Utrecht, we're in Noordwijk for the IFC, the International Fundraising Congress 2025. That's next week. So if you're going to the IFC, come along and see us there. We will have Apteco UK, Apteco Benelux, and Apteco Germany all represented in the sponsors area. We also have, as I just mentioned, closed the entries for the Best Use of Apteco Award 2025. We had the highest number of entries ever, which is delightful, really a pleasure. Mel is always nervous when we launch the awards. Will we get enough? Are people going to enter? Is anybody listening? Well, the evidence is they are. We had the highest ever number of entries. And that, incidentally, has meant some very credible entries have not made it through as finalists this year, but we've got 5 great finalists from different verticals, so some not-for-profit, some government, some commercial, which we hope you will enjoy learning about at Apteco Live. We will have the award presentations during the day at British Film Institute. I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. But the award voting has been started by the judges to pick the finalists and is completed by the delegates at Apteco Live. And the award winners will be announced live at the expo, at the conference, and brought up on stage. We've given them the privilege of a pre-recorded 10-minute presentation. They don't have to go up on stage. It's always a bit scary. We didn't want to put people off, so if they fluff their lines, we can help them with a re-recording. So Apteco Live, 13th of November, it's 5 weeks away. And it is at the British Film Institute on the South Bank in London. Some of you will remember we've been there before. It's a great venue, great projectors, big screens, lovely auditoria, a nice convenient central location. So you can book now. To do so, you need to have your partner and customer codes, which we distribute, and then talk to Mel if you need additional places. So we start with 2 people from each organisation, with partners accompanying the clients, partner staff accompanying the client staff. But you can talk to us, and we typically end up with a waiting list. I know we've got more bookings this year than the same point last year. So I think people are enjoying a back to in-person 1 day only event. So this is not streamed. You've got to come to London. and it's one day only in the format we used to use. So award presentations during the day, focus groups during the day. We're going to have 5 focus groups. We're still working on the topics for those, but we've got the first synopsis submissions in this week. And a chance to meet the experts, see the new capabilities. And it's the reason that I haven't demoed quite as much today as I normally do. I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. But I'm delighted for the first time this year to announce our keynote speaker. And he is Daniel Hume, a globally recognised AI expert who's going to talk to us about rethinking AI and how agents impact business and humanity. Daniel's not a man who's scared of the big thoughts. Google him and go read his bio. It's bonkers. But yeah, founder of Satalia and now Chief AI Officer at WPP, the massive global advertising agency. And we are really delighted to have Daniel speaking at our event. I think he will challenge you, challenge us, and really show what the AI revolution is going to mean for us as analysts and marketers. So if you'd like to see Daniel, come along on the 13th of November to hear him speak. And on that very topic, one of the things we will be showing is our developments in Orin. Now, we've shown Orin last year. We've been working hard on Orin. Turned out it was easy to make Orin do something. It's hard to make Orin do everything reliably and constructively, but we've been working really hard on that. And here's just an idea of some of the things you will see at Apteco Live. So that is Orin writing a summary of the dashboard that came up on my screen a moment ago, and using the data from that dashboard in order to describe it for you. At the same event, you will see, for example, our wonderful new campaign templates. I was very careful just now not to create a new campaign because I'm going to show that at Apteco Live. We have predefined templates built into Orbit now, and whether it's a birthday campaign, a welcome, or a newsletter, you can choose it from the predefined campaigns. You'll be given a summary. You can see the sample text for the welcome campaign. It describes what the campaign is about, what you would typically use it for. It includes help links for the techniques that are used in that campaign. You can see at the bottom of the screen a time delay and an interaction split link, for example, and you get a skeleton design of the campaign that you can then fill out. And we've used our expertise, and Liz Walker, our product manager from campaign team, has used her experience as a client-side practitioner, as a supplier-side consultant, and now as a product manager to create campaigns, templates that we can then give you as a start point. And you can create your own templates as well. So you can have custom templates as well as the predefined template. So come and see more of that at Apteco Live. You'll also have a chance to see our wonderful new A/B testing mechanism. It's a long established technique, but we've taken it really to a beautiful extent. You can see on the screen a flow with 2 versions of creative, a classic A/B test, except we can do A, B, C, D, E, 5-way tests. And you can then decide automatically or manually which of those tests has succeeded, and the remaining volume will get the winning version of the treatment. So A/B tests built into your Orbit campaigns. You can also see voucher codes, for example. We'll show you how we now support voucher codes through Orbit. It's long established in PeopleStage. If you're offering codes that can be redeemed, you can now do that, and you can populate a store of voucher codes that are extracted as you run the campaign. You will also see our new profile visualizations, and we've got many of them that will come into a dashboard near you in the next months. And here's just an example. That's a screenshot of a profile index tile showing income categories down the left-hand side, underrepresented categories to the left, overrepresented categories to the right. But now we've tied all of that up so you can create a profile based on exactly the same technology as FastStats PWE, profiling and scoring, but now spread across multiple tiles that you can arrange, that you can label, that you can decide which variables are shown, which ones are not, for example, and present them in a dashboard for interactive use or exported as a PDF for use by your clients and your senior management team, for example. So if you want to know more about that, come to Apteco Live. I'll be demoing it live, as they say. If you're a partner and you want to know more about Apteco Live, we're going to invite you to Apex. It's going to be held online this year, so you don't all have to travel to London. 6th of November at 2 p.m. Fletch and the business development team will take you through the plans for Apteco Live, any commercial updates, the nature of the event, the activity of the coming year, etc. So join us 6th of November, save the date, 2 p.m. I don't actually know how long it's going to be. I guess an hour and a half maybe. And then you'll be well briefed for the following week for Apteco Live. Let's just get a feedback poll on Apteco Live content and see why you might think of coming to Apteco Live. Is it for the new features? Is it because you get a chance to network with the industry face to face? Is it because you want to see your colleagues' award presentations? Is it because you'd like to see Daniel Hume's keynote? Or is it because you just fancy a day out in London? Let's see what motivates you. Looks like that's a bit of a surprise, actually. I thought award presentations was going to come top, and it's come bottom of that. Hey ho. Well, that's why we do surveys and polls, everybody, to see why you're there. So thank you to the people who responded. Oh, look, somebody's ticked award presentations while I'm speaking. So I don't just need sympathy votes, but I'm sure your colleagues in other organisations will be delighted for your interest and attendance, and more particularly your votes when the award is run. So thank you very much, Mel. Let's just wrap up with a thank you. And in fact, sorry, Mel, I think we had another poll, didn't we, for just how useful was the whole session? Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I missed that. So hopefully this has been a useful use of an hour. I'm actually going to manage to finish on time. If you're quick with your survey, people, we'll finish on time. So was it a useful way to spend an hour? Somewhat useful, not very, or you want your hour back? Let us know. That was good. Thank you very much. Somewhat useful. Well, you see, now I know that you're just hooked on new features. It's because I didn't demo so many new features. We look forward to showing you those at Apteco Live. Right, that's it. We're done on time this quarter. Thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you to Mel and Katie for your support in preparing the materials. We look forward to seeing many of you at Apteco Live in a month's time. That's the end of the webinar today.